forest was supposed to be the end of the noise, not the beginning of a mystery. When the woman first stepped onto land she had bought with the last of her savings, she believed the silence would finally heal her. She had no idea that beneath layers of moss, rust, and forgotten history, something waited that would pull her life in a direction she never imagined, changing not just her future, but her understanding of why she had survived everything that came before. If you believe in silent heroes, second chances, and the idea that life sometimes hides miracles in the most unexpected places, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Stories like this remind us that hope does not always arrive loudly. Her name was Eleanor Whitman, a woman in her late 30s who had spent most of her adult life being strong when she was tired of strength. She lived in the United States, raised in a small Christian household where faith was quiet but constant, like a lamp always left on the background. Eleanor had worked as a nurse for more than a decade, absorbing other people's pain day after day, while slowly neglecting her own. When the pandemic years finally passed, they left her hollowed out, exhausted, and grieving losses she never had time to process. Her marriage did not survive those years. The long nights, the emotional distance, the unspoken resentment slowly pulled it apart. When the divorce finalized, Eleanor did not fight for the house or the furniture. She took what little savings she had left and walked away, carrying only the belief that somewhere quieter she might remember who she used to be. That was how she found the forest land. 40 acres of dense trees, uneven ground, and no nearby neighbors, sold cheaply because it was considered useless for development. To Eleanor, it was perfect. No traffic, no sirens, no expectations. She planned to build a small cabin, live simply, and spend her days healing in the stillness. Peace was the only thing she was looking for. The first months were harder than she expected. The land was rough, the soil stubborn, and the loneliness heavier at night than she had imagined. Eleanor learned to split wood with shaking arms, to patch leaks during rainstorms, and to sit with her thoughts without distraction. Some nights she cried quietly, praying for reassurance that she had not made a mistake. Other mornings, she woke up to birdsong and sunlight filtering through the trees and felt something like hope return. It was during one of her long walks through the far edge of the property that she noticed something unnatural beneath the trees. The ground dipped strangely, and vines twisted in patterns that did not feel random. At first, she assumed it was an old logging scar or debris left behind decades ago. Curiosity pulled her closer, and as she cleared away leaves and branches, a line of rusted metal appeared. The shape was unmistakable once she saw enough of it. A railcar, an old train car, hidden deep in the forest, swallowed by time. Eleanor's heart pounded as she traced the outline with her eyes. It made no sense. There were no tracks nearby, no record of a rail line running through this land. The car looked ancient, its paint peeled away, its doors sealed shut by rust and roots. Fear and fascination tangled inside her. She considered leaving alone, telling herself that some things were better forgotten, but something deeper urged her forward. Over the next several days, she returned with tools, slowly clearing the area, careful not to damage the structure. The deeper she dug, the clearer it became that the rail car had been deliberately hidden, not simply abandoned. When she finally managed to pry open one of the heavy doors, the smell of old wood and metal rushed out like a breath held for decades. Inside, the space was dark and cramped, but not empty. Wooden crates lined the walls, many broken down with age, others sealed tight. Eleanor's hands trembled as she stepped inside, her flashlight beam cutting through dust thick enough to taste. What she found was not gold or jewels, not the kind of treasure people imagine. It was something heavier. Documents, ledgers, journals, military records, photographs, evidence of lives lived and lost. The rail car had been used during World War II as a covert transport, hiding displaced families, religious refugees, and stolen records meant to protect identities from destruction. It was a mobile archive, buried when the route was compromised and never recovered. Eleanor spent nights reading by lantern light, tears falling silently as she learned the stories preserved in those pages. Families separated and reunited, children hidden to survive. Faith carried quietly through unimaginable fear. The weight of it pressed on her chest, but also awakened something long dormant: purpose. She contacted historians, then local universities, then preservation groups. At first, no one believed her. When experts finally came and confirmed the discovery, the land transformed overnight from forgotten forest to one of the most significant historical finds in the region. Grants arrived. Media followed. Preservation efforts began. But Eleanor never sought fame. She refused to sell the land outright. Instead, she worked with historians to create a protected site, a place of remembrance and learning. The railcar was restored carefully, its contents cataloged and preserved. Survivors' descendants were located, many learning for the first time what had happened to their families. Through it all, Eleanor changed too. The quiet woman who came seeking peace found something more demanding but more fulfilling. She began speaking at small gatherings, sharing not just the history of the railcar, but the importance of paying attention to what the world tries to bury. Her faith deepened, no longer quiet out of habit, but alive with meaning. If the story has moved you, if it has reminded you that healing sometimes comes through service and purpose, please like, comment, and share this video so others can find this message too. The forest no longer felt lonely. It felt alive with memory. Eleanor still lived in her small cabin, still split her own wood, still walked the land at sunrise. But now she carried the knowledge that her search for peace had led her to responsibility. She had not just escaped her past. She had honored someone else's. Before the ending, we have a special request. Comment the word hope if you believe that what is hidden can still change the future. On quiet evenings, Eleanor would stand near the restored railcar, listening to the wind move through the trees, feeling connected to lives she never knew but now carried with her. She understood then that peace was not the absence of pain, but the presence of meaning. And in the heart of the forest, where she once came to disappear, she finally found a reason to stay.